I am Nathan, and you are watching Kneel Before Sod. And I hope you guys had a wonderful April 1st, full of jokes, pranks, anything to make you feel like a dumbass. So this week I decided to review one of the greatest fantasy films of all time that still stands the test of time. And so without further ado, here's my review of Labyrinth. Which Labyrinth has nothing to do with April, so I don't know why I'm doing this. Because it's awesome! And so in Labyrinth, Jennifer Connelly plays this teenage girl named Sarah, who's a dreamer, who just wants to escape from reality and live her own fantasy world. She feels neglected by her parents and jealousy towards her baby brother. So she recites this verse asking a bunch of goblins to come take her baby brother away, and then David Bowie shows up and kidnaps him. That sounds really bad the way I just said that. But then David Bowie tells her, you want him back? Then you have 13 hours to solve my labyrinth or he becomes a goblin forever. And so she embarks on her journey all the way through, and it's not even just a labyrinth, it's just this magical land because there's so much things, so much action happening in this one little labyrinth. Now, right off the bat, this film knows how to capture the essence of fantasy. I mean, the amount of work that went through to make it, the amount of people that came to help, and Jim Henson knew what he was doing when he was coming up with the ideas for this film. The use of his puppets and very detailed makeup were very intricate, and so you're looking to see how much work and creativity came in through his thought process. And each character that Sarah comes across, they're all distinctive. You can tell who's your favorite, who's the more fun type versus the sorrow type. The goblins are the main antagonists of this whole story, but nobody gives a shit about them. My favorite character is this big beast who reminds me of Sully from Monsters, Inc. His name's Ludo, and he talks in this very grunty voice and can call rocks because they are his friends. And throughout this film, Sarah, her character takes everything for granted, so she assumes everything has to be in a certain order, and that pretty much gets her nowhere. The odds are stacked against her. I remember at the very beginning when she's trying to go through the labyrinth and she can't find anywhere to make a turn, and so she comes across this little worm that tells her, you know the worm. He basically tells Sarah you have to think outside of the box, or labyrinth in this case. But besides that, if anything, this whole quest that Sarah goes on is almost like she's getting taught a lesson. I mean, yeah, David Bowie tried to kill her several times, but pfft, details. I mean, by the end, she learns not to be jealous, not to take anything for granted, and to stop acting like a teenager who thinks she's a 5-year-old. And of course, I have to mention this, so ladies and gentlemen, here is the Bowie bulge. Yeah, that scarred the eyes of all generations since the 80s, and it's still scarring eyes today. I mean, this film does prove that a man within his middle 40s can kidnap a baby, seduce a teenager, and still be praised for it. Only in the 80s though, because if you try doing this now, then yo ass is busted and going away for a long time. But in the end, Labyrinth is a classic fantasy film people have enjoyed in the past and you will still enjoy today. This whole story just knows how to hit you right in the heart, and it is beautiful. And so with that, I will say this movie is definitely worth checking out. Alright guys, that's it for this video, so subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, like the video. Don't get scarred by the Bowie bulge, you will have nightmares. And I will see you guys on the next video.